Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the May 2017 edition of East Porter County Tech Connect. This will be our last Tech Connect for the summer. Let's go ahead and get started. On today's agenda, we're going to do a recap of the May 5th Google phishing attack, or as I like to call it, the Goopocalypse. We're going to talk about how it went down, things that you can do to prevent it from happening in the future, and then things that East Porter has already implemented and put in place to help kind of stop future attacks. And then Diana is going to jump in with us here. She's going to talk about what's coming down the pipe for 2017-18 school year, as well as the introduction of the SWAT team. For those of you who may be joining us live today, just a reminder that you can put questions anytime in the chat window that appears to the right of the video feed. We'll be monitoring that throughout, and we will answer questions as we go. All right, so May 5th, 2017 started innocently enough, and about 1:28 local time, we began seeing a flood of what appeared to be Google Drive-based shared emails within literally a handful of minutes. Those messages were popping all across the district. People were responding to them, and that kind of continued to perpetuate the problem. The interesting thing is that it wasn't isolated just to East Porter County Schools. Over 1 million accounts were affected that day, or as Google would say, less than 0.1% of their total account base. So it shows you how massive Google's ecosystem is. And basically it spread like a traditional phishing attack, which we talked about in the Tech Connect a couple of months ago. But it had an extra play in it, and this was the first time that someone has used a phishing attack that was modeled to look just like one of Google's services. And that's really how it was able to spread so quickly. It utilizes the trust that we have in the G Suite platform, and that we have in each other as G Suite users to kind of deliver that payload. Many of you saw it, but for those who did not, just kind of a recap of how it appeared. An email was sent. It looked like it came from a legitimate contact. You clicked on it to load a shared Google Drive doc. It prompted you for additional rights. You clicked OK, and it instantly took control of your contact list and your mailbox and spread itself to everyone in your contact list. And that's really how it was able to spread so quickly. But a couple things that it did not do. This particular malware did not deliver any kind of malicious payload. It was purely a spam campaign, but it's important to note that it would have had the capability to do that had Google not shut this down so quickly. And in fact, because the outbreak had gotten so massive, Google was able to stop this worldwide in less than 1 hour. It's also important to note that no account passwords were compromised during this attack, which is why we didn't request that any users within the district change their accounts, even if you were affected by this. The way that this exploited your account, you can kind of compare it from someone breaking into your house versus you letting someone in and robbing you. And this is essentially what this kind of attack was. By responding to the Google Docs link that provided, you had essentially given the perpetrators behind this particular phishing campaign access to your account. So they never knew your password. The malicious app that they had crafted just was given access to your account, which allowed it to kind of perpetuate with those emails. So account passwords were not compromised. So what can I as the user do? We always start off when we say trust but verify. It's important to identify the sender of any kind of email, not simply the subject line. So while all the subject lines were identical to a standard Google share, if you would have looked at the front line on the email, it said something along the line of hhh@mailinator.com. And ultimately, that's what helped us be able to stop the tide of that quickly. Within about 9 to 10 minutes of that message starting to circulate, we had blocked that email that particular email address at the domain level within East Porter County, which stemmed the tide of those emails. But again, within 7 to 8 minutes, quite a few of them had already spread. The second thing is to note that Google core products, which includes Google Mail, Google Drive, Hangouts, Google Keep. There's a couple more. The core products will never request additional rights from your Google account. So at any time when you're launching a doc or taking notes within Google Keep or doing a Hangouts with someone, Google should never request additional access to your account. All Google core services already have full access to your account that they need to operate. The third item is be wary of using Google accounts to authenticate against third-party services. And what we mean by this is websites that you go to that instead of creating an account dedicated for that particular site, they have a button that says sign in with Google or sign in with Facebook. And essentially what you're doing at that point is you're allowing that particular service to have a certain access level to your account in order to facilitate that login. And I'm not saying that it's a bad idea to do that, because it certainly can be convenient, but you do need to be wary and you do need to evaluate that and evaluate the level of rights that you're giving and then make a kind of a judgment call to decide whether or not you want to trust that particular service with your credentials. And the last, and we've talked about this before, is you can evaluate your account permissions at any time. Account permissions doesn't solely extend just to apps that you may have installed on your Chromebook. It also extends to any of these third-party websites or services that you may have authenticated against your Google account. So you can click the link here in our slides presentation, myaccount.google.com/permissions, and that will show you everything linked to your account. Now, Google core services are all listed in there, and they all are given full access. And if you revoke rights to that stuff, you'll revoke a lot of access to your account. So you do need to be careful. But on third-party services, if you're not sure, it's always best to err on the side of caution. You can revoke that access to your account, and the worst that you'll have to do, if indeed it is a service you'll still use, is reauthorize it the next time you visit that site or service. All right, so what has East Porter done kind of since this has happened? We talked a couple months ago about a service that we had purchased called CloudLock, and CloudLock is a monitoring product that's used against all staff and secondary student Google accounts, and it's looking for a lot of the factors like we just talked about. It's looking for third-party services that have been authenticated against your account. It's monitoring all the accounts for suspicious login locations, which is currently set for any login to your account from outside of the United States. And it has the ability to automatically revoke access to apps and websites that are untrusted or require excessive access scopes. And what we mean by excessive access scopes are those that, like for instance, a calculator app. You shouldn't have to give a calculator app full access to your Google account in order to function. So it's looking for specific apps like that that are asking for more than they need. And they use a community trust system where all the apps that CloudLock detects have a rating system behind them, and that allows us within the tech department to make a decision on whether or not we can trust this app. And any app that becomes untrusted at this point is automatically revoked. And that's a change that we implemented after the May 5th incident. So in a situation like what happened on May 5th, CloudLock was in place, but CloudLock was not automatically set to revoke access to those types of apps. And frankly, it wouldn't have mattered at that point. CloudLock pulls all the accounts every couple of hours, and how often they're able to do that is determined by Google. This particular attack spread so quickly that no monitoring software that functions like CloudLock does would have been able to catch it. But this is in place to protect us from future incidents, which might not be as widespread, but still involve providing third-party services and different apps access to your account. You know, if nothing else, this incident has shown us how important it is to be vigilant, not only as individual users and owners of accounts, but also as for us as a technology department, that we need to keep a constant eye on these accounts and really you know, make sure that the apps and the websites that our users have given permission to can be trusted. So.
All right, thanks. So moving on, I would like to give everyone a brief overview on what to expect for professional learning opportunities in technology integration starting with the next school year. First, I'll talk about the shift that will take place in the coaching cycle for all secondary teachers. We will be moving to a collaborative digital lesson design in place of the traditional coaching cycle template. This process is going to look different and will be personalized for every secondary teacher. Everyone will be going through this collaborative process once each semester, but of course, that doesn't mean that you can't utilize your coaching resource much more often than that. This process will allow us to focus on pedagogy and the building of blended learning experiences from the start to the finish. This is our next step as a district in technology integration. So through the packaging of digital lesson design, an example of this that you probably heard, and we've talked about this before in our Tech Connects, is a HyperDoc. We'll be building these East Porter teacher authentic learning experiences for our students to maintain that East Porter voice while giving ourselves as educators an authentic platform to work on some other tech integration goals, which I will outline in a second here. All of this will be done in support of the ongoing curriculum design process and the curriculum work that's already been happening in the district. And so technology integration PLCs are in support of curriculum PLCs. So they're no longer going to exist as separate things. And more information and specifics on that will come. So moving on to some of the specific tech integration goals we have for next year. So again, within our curriculum work and the collaborative digital design process, we are going to have opportunities to focus on some specific goals as a district. First, we will be looking at high quality digital content, both from open ed resources and subscription services. Secondly, we will be utilizing digital content and we will create blended learning experiences, as I mentioned, through the HyperDocs. And through this, we will have an even larger responsibility to consider copyright, both for teacher materials and for student creation. This goes hand in hand with information literacy. The constant and instant access to info, it demands that we continue to build our own info lit skills so that we can support students in the same way. Copyright and info literacy also overlap with one of the several elements within digital citizenship. And so we will be working together to find those organic and authentic ways to integrate digital citizenship skills into the existing curriculum. So all of these things, copyright, DigCit, information literacy, that's all part of the curriculum that we already have in place in support of it. Finally, we will continue to work together to build those innovative learning experiences for our kids so that when we are using technology in our classrooms, we are stressing the active student use of technology rather than students being passive consumers of information. All right, moving on to my last topic for today's Tech Connect. I'm excited to talk to you about the SWAT team. So this semester, a number of us, students included, we have been working to build a district student technology team or a club. The students have been working to get this up and going, and the SWAT team is ready to get started. We've been busy building a vision. They've been brainstorming to kind of think about the purpose that the club will have, and then to set ourselves up for the very first event as a group, which is coming up in June. So we started by meeting as a group. We had a call-out meeting with the building level sponsors and the kids to talk about our vision and what the concept of a student tech team is. And the interested students have been working throughout the last couple of months to give our team a brand. So we decided, the kids decided on the name SWAT team, and SWAT team stands for Students Working to Advance Technology. The SWAT team is an East Porter district-wide team That consists of 3 different charters. So we have 3 charters, one at each of our campuses. The SWAT team is for students in grades 6 through 12. Mike Slice at Couts, Crystal White at Morgan, Todd Hudson and Christy Campbell at Washington are the building level sponsors. So all of us have been working together with the kids to get this going. So besides our name, students also work to create some more branding. So this is our logo. This was created by a student at Morgan Township High School. M. Randall created this, designed for our team. So very soon you'll see kids wearing t-shirts that look like this to school. SWAT team is new to East Porter, and there are a lot of schools in Indiana that are getting started with this as well. However, there are some schools in Indiana who have established student technology teams. We did a lot of research to come up with what we wanted our club to look like so that we're sure the club is purposeful here at East Porter. Technology teams in other Indiana schools work on some of these items outlined in this list. So this is the research that we've done to kind of give our students some direction, but ultimately we really want student voice, and we want this to be student-led. So we'll see kind of as it goes what our club turns into, what we want to focus on, but we do plan on taking a page from the other tech clubs to help get us started. So some ideas that we've thrown around in our SWAT team meetings: planning and executing Digital Citizenship Week activities, gathering for fun, gaming, coding. A lot of the SWAT team members are really into video games. Hosting community and parent technology panels and events, helping with that student or that family community outreach piece. Collaborating with staff members on technology initiatives, and even assisting in some professional development throughout the corporation. We have students interested in doing that. Supporting teachers and their peers and using ed tech. There are some leadership conferences that are available for the SWAT team members, perhaps some competitions, and then also supporting the use of our learning centers at the buildings. The DOE Office of E-Learning supports student technology teams through a program called Hoosier Student Digital Leaders, or HSDL. The SWAT team falls under this umbrella, and we are official registered members of the HSDL network. This is a network for all Indiana students and advisors, and it's open to schools who wish to empower students as digital leaders. So the overall goal here is for students to work alongside teachers, admin, and tech staff to promote the tech initiatives and give student voice to tech and education. So with being part of this network, the students will have opportunities to participate in leadership workshops. There are a couple of conferences throughout the year that we're looking to attend, and other exciting leadership opportunities for our students to become active members in the HSDL. Finally, to give you an update on what SWAT is up to right now, our very first event is working with eVillage, our conference coming up on June 15th and 16th. Recently, you heard that East Porter received a grant from the Valparaiso Redevelopment Commission. The SWAT team activities will be supported by monies from this grant, which we're very thankful and excited about. This week on Tuesday evening, roughly 30 SWAT team members from the district visited the Valparaiso Barnes & Noble store, and we met with the community business development manager. Barnes & Noble is partnering with and sponsoring the SWAT team as part of our volunteer work with the eVillage conference. So when we went to Barnes & Noble, the SWAT team members were able to choose a number of different technology tools, maker space items, STEM, coding, robotics, drones, robots, all kinds of cool things that Barnes & Noble is lending out to us so that the students can learn how to use these tools, think about their application to the classroom, and then at the eVillage conference with Barnes & Noble, the kids will be demonstrating all of these cool tools. You will also see our SWAT team members volunteering throughout the conference in a number of different ways. So if you are attending eVillage on, again, June 15th and June 16th, look for those gray SWAT team t-shirts and ask the students what they've been up to.
All right, so that wraps up the May edition and wraps us up for the year here. We have been monitoring the chat, and we've answered a couple questions on there. If there's nothing else, Have a great summer.
Thanks.